and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. And today, guys, we're talking about Zilliqa and just, how fantastic of a project this is. Something that, Chris, you've been invested in for a while?
Yeah, I've been invested in this one for such a long time, Nick, and it wasn't really sort of getting any momentum. And then all of a sudden, it's like a dark horse coming out of nowhere, looking to eat up all the Ethereum projects. To be
Absolutely.
honest.
So yeah, we're just going to bring up the chart. We're going to talk through, what's actually going on here with Zilliqa, talk a little bit about it, take a look at the chart, dive into some of the recent action, and kind of just, yeah, give our thoughts on what Zilliqa is and why we think it's going to be really successful in 2021. So as always, if you find it useful and informative, do go ahead and smash that like button. Chris really appreciates it. I really appreciate it. I like to think the whole Cheeky Crypto community here really appreciates it. And if you're new to the channel and not yet subscribed, do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said, let's jump on over to the charts and talk a little bit about Zilliqa. So perhaps you're fed up with hearing, the phrase Ethereum killer. So maybe I wouldn't use that one today. But after all, projects that label itself as such has a fight on its hands, right? But Zilliqa is a fantastic project. I'm not going to call it an Ethereum killer, Chris, but it is a third generation blockchain. And I think it has a good opportunity here to potentially, hit a few or go a few rounds with Ethereum, I should say.
Yeah, and
So
I was going to say I completely agree with that, but I think more importantly, Nick, it'd be great if you can let us know in the comments, what do you think? Do you think that Zilliqa is an ETH killer, or not? Let us know.
Absolutely. So Zilliqa is so was I guess it yeah no it launched in 2017, right? And basically, it was initially on the Ethereum blockchain as an ERC20 token. But since February 2020, they basically transitioned to their own platform, and this is something that you see a lot of big projects do. This is something that VeChain did. They were over with Ethereum, and they left. Right, you saw it with SingularityNet as well, I believe. They went from Ethereum to Cardano, and basically, you see a lot more people leaving Ethereum these days, as
Yeah, well,
unfortunate as that is.
one thing I would add though is, like, you've seen the traction with Zilliqa. You're starting to see the traction with VeChain as well now, and then just to top it off, I mean, I know we just mentioned three projects here, but you're also now starting to see SingularityNet AGI start to sort of get some momentum as well, Nick. And I think that isn't a coincidence. I think moving from Ethereum, when we see this, a lot of these projects do start to get that momentum. You really do, and I find that really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Zilliqa is something that we just cannot overlook either, right? So, even when designing it, the founders, they were focused on tackling those pressing problems, right? And the main one that always comes to mind is scalability, one of those big issues with Ethereum. And it's fantastic actually, because Zilliqa are the first, as far as I know, that have actually implemented sharding in practice, right? So it basically means that you can scale. For those who do not know what sharding is, sharding basically refers to dividing up a blockchain network, in this case a Zilliqa's network, into groups of nodes, right? And they basically just call those groups of nodes shards. So each shard comprises of 600 nodes. Each of those basically operate as a mini blockchain, right? Processing transactions for the main network. So rather than one big group, you end up with these little kind of subgroups that come together to basically make your blockchain. So sharding is very, very effective for scalability. And as the network grows, so does the number of shards, right? So, based on capacity of 6 shards, so 3,600 nodes, Zilliqa can reach transactions of 2,800 transactions per second, which is, vast in itself. But as the network gets more and more momentum, gets bigger and bigger and bigger, the more shards start to appear, the higher the transaction and the throughput. So it's absolutely a fantastic approach. And obviously, sharding is something that gets spoken about a lot, but in practice, we actually have a blockchain here utilizing it, which is absolutely amazing. So, if you add in, a dash of staking, which we'll get to, I'm sure, smart contracts and, a decentralized exchange called ZilSwap, and basically you kind of have a bit of a recipe for Zilliqa to be a real top contender moving forward, right? And I think 2021 is definitely going to be an amazing year for this particular project. So 2020 has, in fact, been a very good year for Zilliqa anyway. We've seen massive movement, as you can see within the chart, right, in the back end of the year, massive movements up towards that 10 cents, right? So it's been fantastic. And a significant growth if you really think back to where it was beforehand. So yeah, I think the project has a lot of potential moving forward, right? So if we get into the actual chart that we can see in front of us, we can dig into what's actually going on here, right? We have a Fibonacci retracement. So this is the low level on the 11th of December and the high level that we achieved up here, which was on the 27th of December. That was basically 9.7 cents, so just under that 10-cent level. And obviously we have a couple of support and resistance lines that are played in here as well. We obviously see this a key level right here. This comes in at 7.7 cents. And that's an area that has been heavily tested and worked as support all during this period here before it actually broke down. Obviously, was then resistance that we've been unable to get above currently. Then we had the Bitcoin issue recently with a lot of FUD out in the news that is causing not only Bitcoin and Ethereum but all of the other projects, at least a majority of them, to basically take a bit of a nosedive. And obviously then we can see that the support level down here was key, and we bounced off of there at 5.1 cents. I didn't think it actually quite reached it. It was a little bit higher here at 5.2. So it was good to see that that was happening. We obviously can see that we were moving upwards, and we are up here today, right? So our former trend line, Chris, that was working as a bit of a support trend in an upward motion, has actually now appeared to fall and flip into a positive trend upwards, but as resistance. So now we've got to get back past that resistance line. Now, what was really frustrating me is if I zoom in here, we were working our way towards this triangular wedge with our upward trend line and our resistance. However, we did break down because of Bitcoin's recent FUD, specifically those articles and people coming out saying, to sell your Bitcoin when in fact none of those big whales were selling their Bitcoin, which is very frustrating, and basically it caused all of this to happen. So now we have this mission. We no longer have that triangular wedge to our advantage. We have to now try to break through this upward trend resistance line and our horizontal resistance line. So I do find that 16th of January could be a key date. We'll see what happens there as those two intersect. But really good to see some positive green candle today. If we can get that closed in this area, I'll be really, really happy with that as well. So let's take a look, Chris, at some of what prices we could be looking forward to for Zilliqa moving forward, right? So if we just pull this down, we can see that our first extension level here at the 1.618 Fibonacci shows a 13.9 cent price target. Now that should be the very first price target that we could easily break out towards, and we should be very, very comfortable with achieving that. Moving further up, we have the second one. This is the 2.618 Fibonacci extension, and that shows a 20 cent level, okay, 20.7 cents. And again, we might do that in almost one stretch of a run, or we might have a retest down on the 1.618 Fibonacci before potentially going up to that. But we'll see how these candles form on that route on the upward direction. Now, after 20.7, we get to 27.5 cents, okay, and that's the 3.618 extension level. So really key to see how that one plays out. I think we can get there, no problem whatsoever with Zilliqa. And likewise, the 31.8 cents is the top target here at the 4.236 extension level. Now, all of those price targets could happen very, very quickly as the alt season kicks off, right? Because so much money is going to be flowing in. And if we look at the tokenomics of Zilliqa, it's a 21 billion token project, so really relatively low capacity in comparison to other projects. So no problem hitting these immediate Fibonacci extensions, I feel. And do you agree with that, Chris?
Yeah, completely aligned to that. I think there's some other fundamentals that perhaps people aren't acutely aware of, and that's the fact that, you know, unlike the other projects like ADA, for example, they're all active. It's all the tech is there now for Zilliqa, isn't it? So, you know, they've got all their, you know, roadmap things up to date and are on track. Not that I'm suggesting that ADA isn't on track, but, you know, I think it's a little bit further behind currently where Zilliqa is placed.
Yeah, and you know, ultimately, there's something else to also take into consideration here. Staking is fantastic, so highly recommend that everyone does stake their Zilliqa for many a few different reasons, right? So, staking Zilliqa will earn you a 𝗕𝗓𝗪 all the way up until the end of October 2021, and 𝗕𝗓𝗪 is the governance token for the Zilliqa network. So there's only, I think it was like 658,000 as a 𝗕𝗓𝗪 actually, you know, in existence. And once that has been issued, it has been issued and there's no more in existence. So there's a huge scarcity element of 𝗕𝗓𝗪 token, right? So whilst you stake your Zilliqa, currently you will also earn 𝗕𝗓𝗪, and that's a fantastic opportunity not to be missed. And that will go all the way until October 2021, until all 𝗕𝗓𝗪 is distributed. And above and beyond that, Chris, there is 4.2 billion Zilliqa currently staked, which accounts for around the 30% of the current circulating supply, right? So the more that gets staked, then ultimately the fewer there is in circulating supply, which will have a positive impact on the Zilliqa price. Because as demand increases during a bull cycle, there will be very, very little actually for sale at the time. So that's incredibly positive. So do recommend staking because it has multiple different effects on the market. And I think there's some fantastic advantages that we could be taking there. So Chris, is there anything else you would like to talk about regarding Zilliqa?
No, nothing more to add, Nick.
Fantastic. So guys, if you found this video useful and informative, do go ahead and smash that like button. By doing so, obviously, you know, Chris really appreciates it. I really appreciate it. But more importantly, I like to think that the entire Cheeky Crypto community really appreciates it. And if you're new to the channel and not yet subscribed, do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with that said, we hope you have a fantastic day and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Take care.